All right, everyone. Well, welcome to the week 4 preview, and I gotta start. I gotta start on kind of a down note. I need to apologize. I need to apologize to all the owners in the Family Beatdown League, and I especially need to apologize to the Notre Dame fans in our league. And I'll call you guys out because I want you to know this is heartfelt. I mean, to Jake and Rick and Paul and Alex and Tyson, to the extent that you're a Notre Dame fan, my sincere apologies. And I hope you don't think I'm just setting you up for something, because I mean it. I mean, I made a mistake last week. I made a mistake, a huge mistake, when I said that Notre Dame played Boston College this past weekend. As we all know, they play Boston College this weekend, not last weekend. And I don't know what to say. From my heart, I apologize for that mistake. They actually played Stanford last week. Now, had I known they were going to play Stanford, I would have spoken with much more authority, because I believe Stanford is a pretty decent team this year. They had a great team last year. They knocked off USC last year. They played everybody tough. They have most of their players back. That Toby Gerhart is off in the NFL, but they got this great quarterback. And, Harbaugh's got them believing. And Stanford hung it on you guys like nobody's business. So, again, if I would have known, I could have prepared you. I would have said, look, there's no way you're going to win. You might as well just phone it in, put in your third stringers, get them some varsity action. But, my apologies. Stanford is a good team. You have nothing to worry about. Being 1-3, there's nothing to hang your head about. That Brian Kelly era is off to a fabulous start there in South Bend. Now, I hope you enjoy this week's game against the Boston College Eagles. And I actually do think you're going to win this weekend. I actually do. I think you guys are. I think there's going to be some pent-up frustration. At any rate, enough of that. Let's talk about what really matters: our fantasy league. I will tell you that USC wins last week. They win big, 50-16, up at Washington State, up in Pullman. And this week they host the Washington Huskies here at the Coliseum. Any rate, as you look at our league, I thought it was just a matter of time. I actually thought it was going to be last week that we got rid of all of our unbeaten teams. But in the Cardinal division, there are no more undefeated teams. But in the Gold division, we got two left. Two undefeated teams, 3-0, and actually both of them looking pretty respectable going into week 4. MudDawgs looking powerful with 436 points so far, winners of 3 straight. And then Blue and Gold with 340 points, who actually, if you do the math, is about 6th overall in our league, and would actually, if you weigh the points, would actually not make the playoffs should the playoffs start today. But at any rate, at 3-0, Blue and Gold. So both Jake and Rick setting up a matchup of undefeateds in that Gold division. Cardinal division, I'm sitting on top at 2-1, and I lead the heap with 440 points scored, 4 by the mighty Smell This, knocking off Mike B last week and putting him down to 2-1. Any rate, we still have two unwin teams. Rednecks looking for their first win at 0-3, with a good chance to pick up one this week against the Deceptions. We'll talk about that. And then Mean Machine taking on Grandpa, who, after a grueling strategy session on Saturday morning, posted the win. Now, if he can make some moves and cover for the Corral Buckhalter, he could do pretty well against Mean Machine. So, one thing I want to point out this week, bye weeks. I know I'm going to get impacted really heavily. I got 3 players that are on bye this week, and I have to make some adjustments big time in my lineup. There's 4 teams, and every week now there's going to be 4 teams that sit out and don't play. This week you have the Dallas Cowboys, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, all licking their wounds, sitting on the sidelines, watching football on Sunday and not playing. So if you have players on any of those teams, you need to cover for those players right away. They will not play this week. Another big thing coming up this week. This is week number 4. So all of those players that had those 4-game suspensions to start the season, and we know what those are for. For the better part of them, are going to be coming back next week. I'm looking forward to having Santonio Holmes come back to the New York Giants. I've been holding him on my bench and waiting for some production out of his ass. And then Grandpa took up, based on some solid strategy advice from yours truly, picked up Ben Rothliesberger, who's coming off a 4-game suspension next week. Although it looks like with Pittsburgh and 3-0 and Charlie Batch looking the way he did last week, Ben's going to have his hands full winning that job back, but I do expect him to win his job back. So you'll have some other players, too, that are going to come available after their 4-game suspensions, and that'll happen after the games this week. All right, so let's get right to it. Looking at the Week 4 preview. Smell This versus North Mac Attack. You've got a 2-1 team versus a 1-2 team. Alex is hungry for the win. Alex is getting hit hard. He's got Percy Harvin, Roy Williams, and Dwayne Bowe all on bye. Me, Adrian Peterson, I don't know how I'm going to cover for him. Des Bryant, who hasn't done squat for me this year. And Mike Williams, who's on Tampa Bay, and I don't even know who the hell he is. So I got to cover for that. But I'm going to give the nod to Smell This. Looking at Mean Machine versus Gerard Invincibles. This one, I know Dad has been talking smack already on this one. Way to go. He's posted his smack at 6:51 a.m. on September 28th. Way to come up. Way to come out swinging, Dad. Pretty good lineup. Like I said, Corell Buckhalter needs to sit on your bench. You did pick up a couple of nice players this week, so let's try to get them in. You've got Lewis Murphy into the lineup, which is good. And I forget the running back that you picked up. Oh, Jonathan Stewart. You got to get him into your starting lineup, Dad. Tyson, you have a real shot this week of getting your first win. Palmer against Cleveland is going to be a battle, but Cleveland's porous. And then you've got... what's that other? Well, you've got Devin Hester against the Giants. That's not going to be easy. But Rashard Mendenhall against Baltimore, again, not easy. A tough run defense. And Ahmad Bradshaw, another one of your Giants running backs, against that Chicago defense. You know what? I take it back, Tyson. Your teams, your matchups, oy, I don't know. Well, you know what? I'm going to give it to you anyway. Mean Machine gets the pick over the Gerard Invincibles. Looking at the deceptions. Excuse me. The next game I want to talk about is Blue and Gold versus Mike B. Now, I'm at that time of year where I've just about had it with the undefeated teams, since I'm not one of them. Y'all are getting under my skin. Jake, you're 3-0, and you got that dreaded, that hideous name, Blue and Gold. However, so typically I would go against Blue and Gold, but Mike B has Felix Jones on bye week this week. Has some pretty good matchups with Phillip Rivers against Arizona, who suck ass this year. Andre Johnson against Oakland, who sucks ass this year. But Felix Jones is open, and I don't believe Mike B is going to log in and change his roster, so I think that spot's going to remain open, and I think that's going to be just enough to give Blue and Gold the win. As much as it irritates me, Mike, get in there and make some moves on that roster and keep your cousin from going 4-0. He's insufferable as it is. 4-0, he'll just be impossible to live with. Now, let's talk about Deceptions versus Rednecks. Again, prime opportunity for one of our winless teams to break into the W column. And I think, she's got a lot of positions to cover. Shianko is gone this week. You need to hang on to him. Don't let him get on the waiver wire because he is like the top tight end. But you need to cover for him. And Marion Barber, you got to cover for him as well, Don. Donovan McNabb against Philly. What a matchup there, huh? Going back into Philly, that should be interesting. Remember, they threw batteries at Santa Claus at Philly Stadium. You can imagine what they're going to do to Donovan McNabb when he comes back wearing that Washington Redskins outfit. Looking at deceptions, tight ends open, Dallas, but this will be a good test because, again, I don't think Jed logs in. I don't think he logs in at all. I don't think he's made any moves. He hasn't picked up any players off the waiver wires. And I don't think he's going to cover Jason Witten, and we're going to use this as a test. Don't anybody tell him. Anybody tell him. All right? Don't tell him that Jason Witten's on a bye. Let's just see. We use this as a test. Let's just see if Jed Durone is actually going to log in. All right, that'll be our test. Shh, don't tell anybody. Oh, the other thing, he got no Sean Marino. This is how you know he's asleep at the wheel. He's got no Sean Marino still in that starting role. No Sean Marino broke his leg or something. Not like that, but no, he's out on. He did not practice again on Thursday. If he didn't practice on Thursday, I don't know if you're going to play on Sunday. So let's just, again, don't tell Jed. Let's keep it between us. Let's see if he logs in. Let's see if he covers for no Sean Marino. Let's see if he covers for Jason Witten. Otherwise, Rednecks, you cover Barber, you cover Shianko, and you cover that Dallas defense, and you get the W, girl. Looking at Nads versus Veronica Bolden. Veronica is Superwoman. This woman has got 4 babies that she's taking care of. She's got Michael that she's got to keep in line. She keeps all the plates spinning, but she needs to cover the running back. Last week I thought it was a strategy of hers. She was going to spot her opponent. She had that running back spot open. It's open again this week. Veronica, cover that. The other thing, too, Sean Green. Dude, he's the number 2 running back. He's the man in New York, and as much as it pains me because I got Sean Green in my other league, he's not doing squat, so you need to cover for him. Paul, the Nads, he's got Ryan Longwell, his kicker, on bye week this week. It's easy enough to cover a kicker. They're just interchangeable. Get one that starts. They all look alike, right? Every kicker standing on his head looks alike, if you know what I'm saying. Any rate, Drew Brees against Carolina. Drew Brees, I should say. Jeremy Maclin, that's a good matchup. Santonio Moss, a lot riding on that Philadelphia game because you got Clinton Portis and Chris Cooley playing in that game as well. So there's a lot riding on there. Now watch it be one of those typical NFC East pitchers duels, Paul. It'll probably be, the score I think is going to be 6-3. And nobody's going to matter except your damn kickers. But anyway, Veronica, you need to cover, and you've got some pretty good matchups. Schaub against Oakland should be able to go crazy, but let's cover up that running back. Anyway, right now I give the nod to the Nads, and again, Nads get the nod. And in our game of the week, let's talk about it. Team Quincy, who was the #1 draft pick, built his team around Chris Johnson. Looking pretty good. Needs to get Pierre Garçon covered because he's out with an injury. Miles Austin is on bye week, and Joe Flacco's got Pittsburgh. Oh, God. Might want to look at some other quarterback there, Quincy, but good matchups otherwise. MudDawgs. MudDawgs. As much as it, you know, I'm sure Rick has never been called this. He's the class of the outfit. He is the star pupil. And I'm sure these are labels that have never been hung on this man, but he is doing great. Aaron Rodgers against Detroit. Aaron is my man. He's showed up last week and has proven that he can play and deserves to wear the colors there in Green Bay. Javad Best, I haven't checked, but I think he's injured. Cedric Benson against Cleveland. That's not going to be easy as they go into Cincinnati, or Cincinnati goes into Cleveland. And then Mark Clayton, I think he's drawing Medicare right now. But Brandon Marshall, it's a solid pick. I picked him up last week in my other league, and he's doing fantastic. Well, at any rate, so I'm going to give the nod to, and here we go. I haven't even made my pick. I'm going to give him a nod to MudDawgs. I think the difference is going to be at that quarterback spot. I don't think Flacco's going to have a good day, and I think Rodgers is going to have a crazy day. At any rate, that's it from here on the left coast. We hope you all have a good week. Cover for those bye weeks. Remember, Dallas, Kansas City, Minnesota, Tampa Bay out this week. We'll see y'all next week. Good luck. So long.